Things are changing in Scotland, and they have been for a while now. Conversations are being had, opinions are being given, people are engaged. As Scots, we have a reputation for being very patriotic, if not the most patriotic, mainly thanks to Mel Gibson. And to a point, we've earned that reputation. Sure, we don't all have deep-fried ginger facial hair, and we don't all have haggis wrapped in tartan with a side of iron brew for dinner every night. But we do display our national identity as a kind of badge of honour. Often when abroad, we'll tell the locals that we're from Scotland before we've told them our name. And if we could have Scotland tattooed on our forehead without being sectioned, and without English football hooligans throwing patio furniture at us, then we probably would. But how artificial is that patriotism? How much substance does that message really have? Were we actually that engaged with our national identity? How much of it was just playing up to our reputation, or a proud tradition? And how much of that pride in our identity was caused by a 24-degree Spanish heat and cheap foreign lager? But all that changed, and all the doubts about how engaged we were with our national identity were put to rest on the 21st of March 2013, when the Scottish Government announced that there was going to be an independence referendum to decide whether we stayed in the United Kingdom or became an independent nation.
Therefore, it behoves each and every one of us, recognising that underdog status, to campaign with our utmost till 10 o'clock tomorrow evening to persuade our fellow citizens that independence is the right road forward for Scotland.
From Manchester to Motherwell, from Pembrokeshire to Perth, from Belfast to Bute, from us to the people of Scotland, let the message be this: we want you to stay. Think of what we've done together, what we can do together, what we stand for together. Team GB, the winning team in the history of the world. Let us stick together for a winning future too.
In the intervening months between the announcement of the referendum and the referendum itself on the 18th of September 2014, the response was huge. The turnout was huge. People of all ages were engaged with their national identity, and they wanted to have their say on how they identify. But interestingly, two very important demographics had two very conflicting opinions, with the youth vote favouring independence and the elderly vote siding with the Remain campaign.
Well, I very much believe that an independent Scotland should be looked at further. I think the first independence referendum, there was a lot of things withheld from the public knowledge. Not enough conversation was had about the actual logistics of it. I certainly think that Scots, particularly young Scots, are more in line with their national identity. It means more to them since the referendum, because the issue was so divisive, and it led us to really talk about the positives of our country. And as you saw from the voter turnout at the subsequent elections, the young vote in Scotland is the highest it's been for generations. So being a student as well in Scotland, my very first week at my university, there's a young branch of every single political party at my uni, and all of them have thriving memberships, which I think just shows just how engaged young people are in Scotland. And I think a lot of that is they feel it's important because of their national identity. They now feel like the future of Scotland is very, very important, and they want to live in the best Scotland possible.
I think Scottish politics, the future is very bright because people will be engaged, and that certainly has to do with the strong feeling of national identity that particularly young people have in this country. Because you see it, there's a lot of people my age, not to say that people older than me don't want what's best for this country, because they no doubt do, but a younger generation now really care passionately about what is best for this country and about building the best possible country for us to live in, and that is so exciting. I think that the engagement will continue. Of course, at the moment you could say we're in a peak, and obviously peaks never last, but eventually I think our settling, like the flat baseline, will be very good. It's certainly going to be higher than other parts of the UK, which is a testament to how well the politicians in this country have done to speak to people our age. I think as well, in Scotland, we have proven that through an MP like Mary Black, she shows that it doesn't matter what age you are. She was just a person who cared very passionately about her constituency and obviously about the future of Scotland, and she articulated her points very well in the campaign. She was elected, and I think you'll see that will have a very positive impact for young people getting involved in politics, because it shows that age isn't a barrier in Scotland. And also I think that will lead to increased engagement even in the future, because once people our age grow up and have children, because our generation is more engaged, the next generation will be more engaged because it will be passed on, and hopefully that will just continue, and it's really, really exciting for the future. I think I can't wait to see where this country goes as a result of it.
There were some very well articulated points made there. But every good story has two sides, and luckily enough my Aunt Jean likes a lot of things. Good old fashioned cup of tea, daytime television, and of course, the Union.
Well, I voted no in the referendum because I don't think Scotland is strong enough to go on its own. And I think there's too much emphasis placed in North Sea oil, but I don't think it's going to last forever. And there's quite a few things. So I do think Scots are a lot more engaged with their national identity. I've noticed it in young people, and especially people of my own age. And since the SNP came in, I've noticed it more. I hope it's a bright future, especially for the younger generation. I worry about the economy here, about the employment, about Brexit, I'm not sure. And I just don't know about what's happening in Westminster.
No matter what side of the argument you're on, it can't be denied that it's healthy. People are talking. People care. The future of Scotland is being dictated by the voters, and although there will be differences of opinion, people are speaking about it, their national identity, what it means to them, what it means to be Scottish, and that can only be a positive thing. Democracy and identity are inherently linked, and that's the way it should be. Over the last 5 years since the referendum was first announced, a lot of things have changed. The political landscape's changed, society's probably changed a little bit as well, trends have changed, but one thing's remained constant, and that's people's engagement with their national identity in Scotland. It's always been there, but there's no doubt since the referendum was announced, people are a lot more confident in discussing what makes them Scottish and how they identify, and that goes from people of all ages, young and old. And as long as they have Scotland's best intentions at heart, then that can never be questioned.